Hi, so today I will talk about introduction about Laos. So Laos is national capital combined with French colonial architecture with Buddhist temples such as in 16th centuries, national symbol such as Patanong. There are many famous temples along the Weak Streets and Tree-lined streets, including Wat Sisake, featuring thousands of Buddha statues, and Wat Simyong, atop Hindu temples. We know the location. Vietnam has become a major economic center in Laos due to the location of the central river port in the country, highly depend on the river for transportation. An executive paddy cultivation area with the interturn. In the city has typical monsoon climate with average daytime temperature above 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, history about Laos. An ancient human skull was recovered in 2009 from the Tampani cave in enemy mountain in North Laos. The skull is at least 46,000 years old, making it the oldest modern human fossil found to date in South Asia. Stone artifacts including Hoberhay types have been found at sites dating to the late Pleistocene in North Laos. Archaeological evidence suggests an agricultural city developed during the 4th millennium BC. Burial jars and other kinds of spectacles suggest a complex society in which bronze objects appear around 1500 BC and iron tools were known from 700 BC. The proto-historic period is characterized by contact with Chinese and Indian civilization. According to linguistic and other historical evidence, Thai-speaking tribes migrate southwestward to the modern territories of Laos and Thailand from Guangxi sometime between the 8th to 10th centuries. Laos traces its history to the kingdom of Lanza, which was found in the 14th century by a Lao prince, Phanom, whose father had his family exiled from the Khmer Empire. Phanom, with 10,000 Khmer troops, conquered many Lao principalities in the Mekong River basin, culminating in the chapter of Vengeance. Ngam was descended from a long line of Lao kings to trace by the Kun Bolum. He made the Theravada Buddhism the state religion and Lanzang prospered. Within 20 years of its formation, the kingdom expanded eastward to Champa and along the enemy mountain in Vietnam. His minister unable to tolerate his ruthlessness, forced him into exile to the present-day Thai province of Nam in 1373, where he died. Phanom's elder son, Auhun, ascended to the throne under the name Samsetai and reigned for 43 years. Lanzang became an important trade center during Samsetai's reign, but after his death in 1421, it collapsed into warring function for nearly a century.
Now I want to talk about Laos culture, people and lifestyle. Laos has one of the lowest population density in Asia, with an estimated population of around 7 million people. This number believe that the fact that Laos is home to 68 different ethnic groups. This group fall into distribution, namely lowlands, midlands, and highlands. The fertile Mekong River Valley and lowland plain are where 68% of the total population live. This group is classified as the lowland people. The mountainous slopes of Laos are inhabited by the Lao, who make up 22% of the country's population. Laos is Highlander include Ho and Yao tribes, make up about 9% of the Laos population, while the remaining 1% are ethnics of Vietnamese and Chinese. Laos' dominant language is Lao, though only about 70% of the population speak this language native. In fact, there are more Lao speakers in Thailand's northeastern borderlands of ASEAN than there are in Laos. Locals living in rural areas speak ethnic minority languages such as Khmer and Ho. French is also commonly used in government and commerce. It also a compulsory subject for school in Laos. Buddhism is the main religion in Laos, and its overall influence upon the daily life of the Lao people has been alerted by the strict instruction of the communism government. In fact, the Lao government does not oppose observation of the religion and has used many of its teachings to support its political goals. The Vietnamese-based Lao festival once a 3 days religious observation during the first decade of the communist control that expanded into a week-long celebration of concert, parade, and religious ceremonies. Social rule in Laos. There are several social rules in Laos that you may need to follow during your holiday. Lao people greet each other with a prayer-like gesture called no. A younger person or a person of lower status will know their elder or social superior. The Western custom of shaking hands has become more common in recent years. To a smile and a slightly bow of head is still considered polite. Backslapping, public display of affection, shouting, and wild gesticulation are considered impolite among the local community. Buddhism has also influenced many social rules in Laos. The head is considered the highest part of the body and feet lowest, both literally and figuratively. Touching someone's head or pointing your toes are extremely rude behavior.
Okay, the next one is I want to talk about food. Just like the other major capital city like Bangkok, one of the food benefits of Vientiane is that you find a restaurant and street food, serving regional variation of Laos cuisine from around the country. Laos food encompasses an incredible spectrum of vibrant ingredients that will literally blow your taste bud off your tongue. Probably what I like most is Laos cuisine really know how to balance each dish with an abundance of herbs that doesn't come across an overwhelming, but rather complements each other ingredient perfectly. When you eat in Laos, it's important to order yourself a mix of different dishes for a complete meal. The first dish that I want to share in this blog is lap. Lap is one of the ultimate staple Laos food, a heavyweight. The word lap actually refers to any meat prepared immediately after butchering, always fresh, often eaten raw. This dish is a mainstay in the Laos local diet. The next one is jiao. Gel can refer to any type of dipping sauce, of which Laos has a never-ending abundance. This dish always contains chili peppers and usually some type of grilled vegetable, giving them a distinct smoky flavor and sometimes fermented fish. Enjoy with sticky rice or vegetable. This is one of food dear to the heart of Laos cuisine. Gel can be pretty addictive and can keep in the fridge for about 3 days. While this spicy dripping sauce is one of many in Lao culture, it's actually one of my favorite. Each family probably has their own version of it, but the basic ingredients are essentially the same: tomatoes, garlic, shallots, fish sauce, sugar, cilantro, and green onions. Khao Pet Sen is Laos-style chicken noodle soup. It's just a simple chicken soup served with udon-like soft and chewy tapioca noodles. Traditionally, the noodles are cooked directly in the chicken broth to give the broth its slightly thick, starchy consistency. The dish is garnished with shredded chicken, cilantro, cabbage, sliced green onions, fried garlic slice, and lime juice. Khao Pet Sen is usually made in large batches and it is typically served at family gatherings and senior social events. I highly recommend this dish. Laos is such a laid-back place that I'm sure the most common argument must be over which restaurant has the best khao soi. You can immediately see how the Laos version differs from the one famous in Thailand in that they make it without using coconut milk. Instead of the creamy, slightly sour-nutty Thai version, I noticed right away how cleanly I could taste the meat, a warming beef blend of tomato spice. I love a good sandwich and I admit it, I don't eat them as often as I like. This Laos sandwich is known as khao ji and is not only similar to banh mi but also one that can most likely go in a few directions in terms of ingredients. My take on khao ji use one of my favorite sauces known sai so. It is a sausage loaded with tons of flavor and trust me, it packs a punch. I typically eat grilled sourdough with sticky rice and some form of gel, but I was craving a sandwich lately and I decided to use that awesome grilled sausage on a khao ji. I also have tried a dish called mo. Mo is the term in Laos for a banana leaf wrapped of a near infinite combinations. Typically using either banana or taro leaf, the cooking style is always either steaming or roasting over coals. Opening one of these is always exciting when there are so many variations out there to try. Fish, herb, spice, or even pig brain are common in a good mo. And sometimes if you don't know all the ingredients, you end up with what I call a mystery mo. Last but not least, another impressive food on the local menu in Laos is the salt, herb and vegetable filled mixed with sesame seeds soup bak. You can find many variations of soup bak, some with string bean, other with spinach-like greens, and possibly my favorite, a local version with chashu tree leaf. The vegetables are typically blanched, mixed with herb and the most necessary ingredient in a huge amount of sesame seeds to wrap it all together and give it its unique nutty taste.
Of attraction in Laos. Laos is a mountain and landlocked country in Southeast Asia that has long been isolated from the outside world. The country opened to foreign visitors in 1989. Since then, tourism has become the fastest growing industry. Laos is often overlooked for better known countries in the region such as Thailand and Vietnam. Laos is a multi-faceted place where travelers find both lush nature and rich culture wherever they go. So we have 10 places of attraction in Laos, which is Vientiane, and the second one is Van Vian. The third one is Luang Prabang. The fourth is Sipandon. The fifth, Wat Pu, and the sixth, Pak O Cave.
So the conclusion is, traveling will make us interesting experience when we make to go back and feel it. This is previous feeling when we are going to other countries and seeing people live differently, speak differently, and look differently. This is how one can understand how big and crazy our world is. The benefit can be used to travel is to see a person's country of origin in different way. This can be done by making a comparison between our country and location. Sure, this is possible without traveling. Visiting unknown place will create a new perspective and inspiration. If visitors do not understand what it means to be a citizen of their countries and origin until they see it from afar, from a completely different country. When traveling to another place and having to live according to the laws and social norms of a figure's place, then one immediately thinks about how something is done on their own country and culture and begin to like one way or other. This changes a person's feelings towards their negative land, either in a better or worse way. This idea can be applied to various characteristics such as women's rights, custom and tradition, belief, trust in the government, either. Traveling is always beneficial for individuals who experience it.